All right, folks. Good morning. Welcome to a pre-market show. I hope everyone had an amazing day yesterday, and hope you're having a great morning today. This beautiful Thursday. If you're in New Jersey, it's not so beautiful. It's been raining all last night, so today's still cloudy out there, and looks like it's going to be raining some more. So hopefully, you're having better weather. Had a great day yesterday in the markets, and are having an amazing morning. So let's get to it, guys. I don't have a watch list for the last 2 days, so this watch list here is very, very old. I did hop onto the chat room yesterday and I saw what some of you guys were trading. And overall, I looked at some of the morning stuff you guys had. It looked like it was not an easy morning. So a lot of chop. Again, this is looking at it after the fact and taking some of the feedback that you guys gave me in the chat room. It did not look like it was an easy day. So hopefully you guys are able to survive some of that chop. And if you had a red day, hopefully it was small and controlled. Peter, any specific stock that you like to go over from yesterday that was a highlight that traded very well, or something you saw that, or anybody in the community that is worth mentioning this morning?
Well, there's a bunch of different things that we traded. I would say probably the two or the couple that were most watched in the morning would have been BBBY, Bed Bath and Beyond. We were, it had sort of really negative news. We were looking for a big decline. However, it didn't actually trade very well. Not really a lot of opportunities. If you pull up a chart on it, you can see it sort of was relatively flat through the day yesterday. Didn't end up being that great of a trade.
Mm.
However, we've been talking about MU, and it was actually not a bad trader yesterday. Huge spike up on the open, and then sort of held the levels before sort of falling back throughout the afternoon. So MU was another good trader. What else were people trading? Probably there's a few things that we were watching. CVS was on the list, Teva, but as you said, right, relatively pretty tough day. In the afternoon, frankly, was just as choppy as the morning. So a little bit of tough sledding yesterday.
Gotcha. All right, folks, we have a bit of a list here. I know we're still in the somewhat in the middle, or at least still going through earnings season. I'm not sure if we have any notable earnings today. We'll get into that in a second. But let's get into this gappers list. We have quite a bit on here, which some of them I can tell that we have been on this list for some time. Baba, JD, it pops up here and there. LK has been one that has always, the last couple of, probably a month or two, has been on this list. Obviously, Tesla. You cannot talk trading without Tesla. And we got some other one here, Cisco, and I'm not sure which one is BE. So we'll take a look at those. Um, let's start over with,
Yeah, Carlos,
yeah, go ahead.
if you want me to just set the context maybe with the market
Yes,
overview, because
please.
it'll help contextualize what we're seeing in the gappers list. So the futures are down a little bit today, pretty much exclusively because of the coronavirus. It continues to dominate the news cycles, and rightfully so. Overnight, they re-estimated the number of cases using some topography technology, and have identified 15,000 new cases, bringing the total number of cases in China to up over 60,000, I believe, which is
Wow.
having a direct effect specifically on the Chinese stocks and a little bit of a depressive effect on the markets. Except for the couple of biotech stocks that are taking advantage of that, and we'll talk about a few of them in a second, as they're right at the top of our list, and the only really green things going on. In terms of economic news, any moment now we should be seeing a couple of announcements on the economic calendar. I'm expecting to see the jobless claims come out at about 8:30, and an update on the CPI, Consumer Price Index. Other than that, not much else happening today.
All right,
So
excellent.
there we go.
Thank you for that, Peter. All right, so let's get to it. Let's see what we have on this list. Let's start over here with APT this morning, top of our list. So APT, great volume, 1.4 million shares traded. Let's see how this shares are actually trading. The daily, the daily doesn't look all that great. Where's my handy little mouse thing here yeah, we go for the notes. For the writing on the screen here. So here APT is again has a great pre-market activity though if you look at this in itself. But looking at this daily, man, this daily is very choppy, very concerning. A stock that's been trading pretty much flat, and just looks like it's got some volume or some news over the last couple of days. But again, these stocks are very tough to trade, guys. The float on this one is 11.3, so it is a low flow. This looks like to be the low flow of the last couple of days. Been trading somewhat decent. Today's got great volume. And again, the pre-market activity, if it was not for this daily and a low flow, this pre-market activity is really decent, guys. A good pre-market activity. So worth watching for the low flow team. Let's throw this down here. It's got great volume, 1.4. Let's put that on there, and we'll take a look at it a little bit later. The next one on the list is also one that I somewhat treat as a very risky stock. It's NNVC. This one we have seen quite a bit on our list as well. It's kind of, oh, wow, look at the daily. Very similar to APT, right? This is the type of stuff that you want to be cautious with. So this one, on the other hand, is a very low flow stock. This is 2.2 million shares flow. So again, even lower than APT. You want to be very careful with this one. It's all about managing your risk properly, right? If you can manage your risk on this stock, you can trade it. You can trade it with no issue. The problem also becomes is being able to find good opportunities and trading patterns. Usually, these stocks they move very fast, and it's more difficult and challenging to find a trading pattern, right? That's the key. We're technical traders. So we look for a pattern, ABCD setups. We try to get an indication when to get into a trade. These have a lot of fake out, and these fake outs, when they happen on these low flow stocks, the drop is 50, 40 cents. It's not like an MU or AMD or a JD that when the fake outs happen, it slowly drops down. You have time to control your risk, have decision making, whatever the case may be. You have time to react. Let's look next at AMAT. AMAT. This one this morning, 100,000 shares traded, up 2%. I do like the breakout here we have on the daily. Very nice, getting over some areas of resistance over the last couple of 2 days, right in this area here. So we couldn't break out of this. It seems to have been some area where it had some trouble. Broke out of that yesterday, and now we have a nice continuation gap up this morning. Pre-market's not looking all that exciting right now. It is early, only 8:37, so we'll give it a little bit of time. This is one that trades very well when it is in play. Peter, do we have any news on AMAT this morning?
So, well, as you sort of said, AMAT is had earnings. And mostly this is about their forecast. So they forecasted that their revenue in the forthcoming quarter is going to be a little bit above the estimates, which has given the stock a beat. Everybody loves, when you sort of say, I'm going to do better in the future. So that's really what's pushing this up a little bit. AMAT is a tough trader, at least in all of my experience. I have generally avoided it because I find it very difficult to trade.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely not an easy stock to trade. We have been watching this for some time and have had some success in it, but it's not the easiest stock to trade for sure. It can be very choppy. All right, so we'll keep an eye on AMAT this morning. Got some decent moves here on the daily. Pre-market not so great right now. Next we have BABA on our list, followed by JD, which usually they trade together when they're both in play. So BABA's got some sick volume, 2.2 million shares traded. Going to remove some of these levels we have here because they're overlapping with some of the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So let's get those out of the way. There we go. Again, just tons of volume here. We have this one huge candle here, 212,000 shares traded. But even aside from this candle here, you have a lot of volume. Each of these candles in the 5-minute is almost 100,000 shares traded. If you look down here towards the volume, so this is great volume. Usually a lot more than what we normally see from BABA. BABA does not tend to have that great of pre-market activity and volume. I'm expecting, Peter, there's going to be some kind of news today on BABA, earnings or something. What's going on with them?
Yeah, Baba and JD. There's no real specific news. Like JD did say they've increased their delivery of packages using drones because of the virus to avoid human-to-human contact. But I think these are just, these are the sort of some of the top stocks, Chinese stocks that we're seeing continued pressure downward because of, as the virus situation gets worse, they're going to take the brunt of the impact.
Gotcha. So definitely worth watching here. Great pre-market activity right now, some good volume. I am not a fan of BABA. I don't trade it very well, but I know that a lot of our members trade this stock very, very well. They're able to read the price action very nice, and I can watch this. JD, on the other hand, I'm a very good at JD. We have maybe because it moves slower. I don't, something about it. I'm more of a better trader of JD. So we'll keep JD on here, and I'll probably for my final list I'll keep JD instead of BABA. But this morning JD also has a decent pre-market activity, guys. 344,000. You can see here the nice, beautiful drop, creating a nice pre-market action. Nice pre-market action means, guys, we're having some flow. It's not just trading flat. Like let's say, for example, this here is horrible. This here's a great pre-market activity. We got some momentum, some movements happening in the pre-market. They're daily though. The last couple of days, right? Every time it gets into this area here around 41, 42, seems to get a little nasty in regards to candles. Look at the candles. All wicks, no bodies on here the last couple of days. So something about this 4140 area, that seems to be a little funky. But if you go back and you look at the other trading days from November all the way to February, it's like these are clean days, a good clean daily chart. Something about this area here that's not doing well. Could be because of the coronavirus. Obviously, this thing has caused some ruckus within some of these Chinese stocks and even some of the U.S. stocks as well that depend heavily on China. So next we have KHC on our list. This one this morning down 2%, 975. Beautiful pre-market activity, guys. Look at the drop here, comes back up. You got some nice flow in here. That's what I like to see. So again, some good stuff going on there with some great volume. On the daily, we do have some sort of a choppiness in this area. We have this 2912 level we have from the past. We'll delete the rest up here when we get to that segment. But here you can see that it held this before 2912, very strong over the last couple of 5-day range here, maybe 6 days. So interesting area there. I do like the daily in that sense. And the reason why it can bounce from here, obviously this is a major support. But if it loses that, we have a nice little drop here as well that we can run for. So again, this one's definitely one to watch this morning. Peter, any significant news on KHC this morning?
Yeah, so Kraft, Heinz, they missed their revenue targets, but they did beat on earnings. But revenue is usually considered an indicator of future earnings, and therefore, because that was down, we're seeing a little bit hit to the stock. Now, KHC is on a long-term plan for recovery. They claim it's going well, but I guess the market is looking at it and saying, well, you say it's going well, but your revenue is not hitting your targets.
Yeah.
So that's why we're seeing a couple percent drop.
That's right. Show us the numbers, right? Here it is. Next, we have MGM this morning. So MGM, let's take a look at that. 115 down 2.6 right now. Wow, horrible pre-market activity. Nothing great about this one. Very choppy, and also the majority, probably 80% of the volume sitting here on this 80,000 share block trade or whatever the case may be. So again, nothing good here. And it's not gapping down much neither. It's kind of stuck within this consolidation. So again, I don't see anything great with MGM right now. Any news on MGM that can cause any possible movement later on today?
Yeah, it's another earnings play. They missed their estimates and targets on earnings. They also announced that the CEO was stepping down. Didn't state whether that was related, but both those news articles are what's bringing MGM down today.
Gotcha. All right, so that is what we have there. Let's take a look at. We looked at BABA. We looked at JD. Let's head down over to BP. I believe it's a foreign stock. BP. Yep. So this is one that does not trade very well, guys. Look at the daily, very choppy. So we'll skip that one. Let's look at LK. LK has been a favorite over the last couple of weeks. Here we have some volume, 219,000. Pre-market activity is looking okay. And the thing with LK, the pre-market usually does not look all that great, and it's still being able to do some really good intraday trading. So we've seen that in the last a couple of pre-market openings or pre-market action that it doesn't put in a really good pre-market activity. So right now on the daily, though, it's very interesting. We do have this beautiful pop-up, right? This thing has been tearing it up since going back to November, right? So we had this pop here in November, and you can see how nice it has been trading very well. You got some drawdowns, but overall trading on a real nice uptrend, kind of topping out at 52. The coronavirus has caused a lot of issues for this stock as well. You can see that here when that news has broken out, how nasty and choppy it has been, similar to JD and some of these other stocks that are just reacting to, okay, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, and just kind of taking a hit in that sense. But overall, you do have this previous day close line, which has been an area of resistance in the past and support, and you have lower highs here happening over the next couple of days, kind of squeezing into somewhat kind of a wedge on there. So that could be interesting if we could break out of that. Again, just seems to have a kind of making higher lows here on the way up on the daily. That could be interesting for a possible breakout. So we'll keep an eye on that. LK looks good. It's got some volume, and we know it so far to have been trading very well ever since it has become pretty much of a prime stock to watch. Here's Tesla. Tesla.
LK.
Yep.
Yeah, just mentioned LK. It's got some interesting news. So, once again, affected by the virus and the issues in China. But it was announced this morning that it's going to be added to the, I forget what it's called, the MSCI Emerging Market Index. Now, that's only going to happen on February 28th. So it's one of those, note to self, if you like trading LK, maybe put it on your calendar for February 28th. trading day, because when stocks get added to indices, often that's when, especially index funds and those that trade the indices or mark themselves against it, they need to accumulate the stock, right, to reflect that index build. So we could see increased volume and some buying on LK, which could push the price up as we get closer to February 28th and right on the 28th. So, item to note.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter, for that. Next, we have our buddy Tesla. What are we up to here? So we're kind of sitting right on this moving average, which we have held for a very long time. Every time we had a pullback, that has seems to play that buyers have found some support and have been stepping up, obviously taking this thing into a parabolic move all the way up to 960, 70 or so. So we're right on there. Already this pre-market morning, we have dropped quite a bit. We got some good volume, 719. So interesting to see what's going on here. Can go either way. It does look a little bit weak. They're dropping down 4.1 this morning. Any specific news because of this drop, or it's just, the madness of this stock being, above 700 and hitting 900?
Well, first, just a humorous anecdote for those in the room. So, about a week ago, when the stock price leapt up, we were talking in the room, and I was joking about my buddy Elon, and then my house phone rang, and everybody's like, "Hey, is that him calling you?" And I took the call, and I came back, and I told the guys, "No, like that's not Elon. He only calls my cell phone." And then my cell phone rang. So I'm like, there he is. So what I was joking was that I was advising him that with the stock price up, now's the time to issue more stock to get himself out of debt. You might as well start paying down the debt now that your stock price has skyrocketed up. So this morning, he took my advice, and
There you
Elon
go.
has issued a $2 billion stock offering. So that stock offering now, that's usually dilutive to the price. So whenever you issue a new offering, that's good for the company to pay down debt, but in the immediate term, it dilutes the value of the existing shares. So we're seeing that impact. Now, additionally, Tesla's been hit. They announced this morning they're going to recall 15,000 Model X. That's their little SUV because of power steering issues. I think most of those are in North America. Most, if not all, are North American based. So that is, both of those things are going to be a drag on the stock this morning.
Yeah, it's definitely not good news for investors or whoever's in this for the long term. But again, good news for the company. Hopefully that we'll see how that plays out. So again, here we have a nice drop, guys, 3.8. But again, we're still somewhat holding on to this moving average. So we'll see how strong that is. We dipped below it a little bit. We're coming back above it now. Can we get above this previous day close, or are we going to get into this 20-day moving average on the daily? So let's look out for that. Next, we have CSCO this morning. This one here is it is down 5.7. This is Cisco, and they have 233,000 shares traded. Great, beautiful pre-market activity, obviously, for this stock. This stock doesn't trade very well. It can be very choppy. It reminds me almost like a QCOM, which also can be very choppy, not easily to trade. But here today, we have a very good, clean pre-market activity, some good volume. So definitely worth watching. You can see on the daily how choppy this stock is. Again, you have several days just kind of overlapping each other. You can see here as well, just not a very good, clean trading daily chart here. Any news? This is quite a bit of a drop for them, 5.1. So obviously the earnings or something's going on with Cisco that's causing some kind of problem.
Yeah, it is an earnings play. A little mixed numbers. So they actually beat their estimates barely, but they were just over revenue, just over earnings. However, they set lower guidance by a couple percent for the forthcoming quarters. And as I said all the time, whenever it's future based, the current stock price. So whenever you lower future guidance, it doesn't even matter if you beat your earnings in the immediate quarter. That's going to have a bigger effect, and that's why we're seeing Cisco down so far this morning.
Perfect. All right, so here is CAN. Can has 108,000 shares traded. I don't think I've ever seen this stock before. I'm not sure what kind of stock it is or company. Doesn't look great. Daily chart.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's new to me too. I
Yeah,
think it might have been a recent IPO.
it is. I'm only getting history going back to November. Looks like November 21st. Definitely not a notable IPO because we usually know all the big ones that opened up last year, right? You were on top of that and calling those out. But this one doesn't ring a bell. Overall, either way, this doesn't look good, guys. Not a great daily chart, very choppy. You can see the drop here. Look at the volume down here. You barely trade any volume on this stock, whatever company this is. Yesterday had a big day. Today they're gapping down from that. Again, they traded 12 million, so that was big for them yesterday. But overall, there's nothing great or clean about this stock in here. So It has some tie to cryptocurrency. Okay, that makes sense. But again, nothing clean here. No good pre-market activity. Horrible daily. And again, just not a lot of volume for us to be really focusing on this one. Next, we have BE, another one that I don't think I have seen before in the past. This one is a 296. Oh no, we have, because I do have some levels here. 296,000. This is down 14% this morning. Let's zoom into the daily here, see what we got going on. Yeah, it looks like on this big day here back in August, this nice big drop. We definitely had this on our list. I can tell too by the levels. The levels are around this price range, right? So when they opened up here, we did levels above and below. So we'll keep those there in case we go back down. Let's take a look now what we have on the actual pre-market activity. We do have 296. Pre-market looks good, guys. It's a good pre-market building here. From here to here, this is crappy, obviously. Nothing going on. But then from here, it's starting to get pretty nice. You do have some volume here as well. We're down 14%. Looks like we're on a beautiful uptrend. Let's remove these. On a beautiful uptrend the last couple of days. Not with a lot of volume, right? You could tell just by looking at the candles. When you see this kind of funky candles where the bodies are very small, the wicks are even, wicks are a little funny. Just look down and see what the volume is like. This one has been trading 4.7 million shares on a regular basis. So again, for the kind of stocks we trade, that's not a lot of volume. Today could be the difference. We already have 296 pre-market already. So that could be what makes a difference on this stock. Flow is 54.7. So definitely not a low flow one that we can definitely watch this morning. Any significant news on why this one is dropping today? This BE, Bloom Energy. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so
an
Bloom
energy
Energy has
stock.
been in the news because it's a U.S. utility,
Mm.
and they've had news. I think they're actually California based. I'm not sure about that, but they're living today a CFO's worst nightmare. So essentially, they've announced that they have to restate their numbers. That their sales team might have been a little overexcited in reporting sales, and they're going to have to go back and restate. So as soon as you say, "I'm going to revisit the books and restate," it's not usually higher. It's almost always lower, and that is going to be a problem for them for a little while until they get that done. But the announcement is what's bringing it down so much this morning.
All right, excellent. So yeah, and now that I looked up and I saw it was an energy stock, these normally do not trade very well. So just for that, it'll probably not make my final list. The intraday trading on this type of stocks is not clean. So we'll make our final list. All right, quick look at the gappers list here from Trade Ideas. If you're new and you're wondering what this is, these are Trade Idea scanners. Again, very strong, powerful tool that you can use if you want to get it. We do have a link that we can provide for you if you can try this out. Nothing new on here, so we'll skip over to Nasdaq Active, Nasdaq Gainer. See if there's anything else there that looks interesting. Some Nasdaq ETFs and indications on here. This kind of tells you how the Nasdaqs are doing. So if you look at the QQQ, it's kind of like looking at the SPY, but for Nasdaq, obviously this is kind of pretty much flat at the moment. CODX right now, this one is it's got some volume, 1 million shares traded. It's got a horrible daily. Again, what's the float on this one? CODX. Again, 15 million shares flow. So it is a low flow stock. Definitely in play today. It's got some good volume this morning. I won't be watching this one. I haven't really traded low floats in a very long time. I'm kind of getting away from them. Again, we talk about, guys, finding your niche. If you're good at low flow, there's nothing wrong with that. Just keep doing what you can do well consistently over and over again. So I'm not a good low flow trader, but this one here has got some activity. The daily is horrible, guys. We got a lot of back and forth here on the daily, kind of every candle overlapping each other one. But what you do see, just looking at this quick overview, you have this level on here where the price action is slightly above. We had a lot of resistance on here and here as well. You do got some opportunity to possibly break out, and we have done it before. When we broke out of this area, we hit 420. So that could be interesting. If we can get above that ceiling here, it could be a nice area to get into that 420 if you're watching these type of stocks. Let's take a look at KHC. We have Tesla. We have LLIT. We do not have penny stock. We'll skip that one. But TVIX. So TVIX here, what is going on with this, guys? So they had their reverse split some time ago. And now they're just kind of heading back down here, it looks like. No, was it TVX? I forgot which one it was. I believe it was TVX. Yes, it was. So again, not doing well, guys. The market is very strong. You can see here this thing is just on a beautiful downtrend. Good. This is good here for possible scalping plays, right? If the market starts dropping heavily on some news, something comes out within politics or economy, or whatever the case may be, this could be a good for possible scalping play. That's how we look at that one. We have Apple here this morning. The Apple breakout yesterday, or the day before, hasn't still broken above. I think kind of tested it yesterday, right? So we got a possible good continuation on Apple. Again, the last couple of days you have seen a lot of chop here. So not all that great in this area right now. All right, let's look at what else we have here. Nasdaq Active CPA This one's getting going now, actually. 250, 260,000. Let's look at the float. More of a penny stock, guys. It's trading really under $2, under a buck here. So again, 3 million shares flow on this one. Also another one that looks very active. I'm going to throw it down here. We can come back to that one later. See how this volume is going to interact today as we get closer to that 9:30. We do have CBLI. Not much going on there. CODX we looked at. WorkX, also not much going on. BIMI, nothing happening there. AHPI, no good. INO, this one made some noise, and we did watch this quite a bit before. Right now it's not doing a lot. You got a nice big block trade here. Pre-market activity is not looking great. The daily though, as crazy as this looks, it looks like it might want to be breaking out of this area here. That could be a possible interest, but again, not a stock that I'm going to watch. ADXS, nothing going on there, and then a few more. BTAI, nothing, and then the last one here, CAGG, not doing anything as well. All right, so we got quite a bit of a list here. Let's run through what you guys have. Or Peter, do you have anything aside from this list that you like this morning?
Only two that I'll mention. Microsoft has been at all-time highs, and it's actually been trading fairly well. It doesn't have enough of a gap this morning to hit our list, but once again, it is sort of moving. It always has volume, and when it's trading nicely, it can be a great trend trade because it tends to move in a direction. So I know a number of our members have been watching it, and it's worth keeping an eye on. The other one you just mentioned, Apple. It's funny because guys, we do this show in the morning. I tend to be on in the afternoons as well and take us through the close in the Bearable Traders chat room. And it's we've been watching Apple consistently in the afternoons because almost like clockwork. I think the only day I can remember where it didn't happen would have been Tuesday, but almost every single day in the last half hour, you get a $1 bump in Apple stock, no matter what's happening. It could be down all day, you get $1 up. So it's interesting to watch, so it's one of those where no matter what happens in the afternoon, I sort of put Apple up there and just watch it. I don't often trade that because just never know what's going to happen. But in the last half hour, for some reason, $1 Apple almost every day.
Wow, interesting. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have on your end. So someone mentioned very early on NVIDIA. We'll take a look at that. See what that's doing. Oh, NVIDIA broke out nicely here. We missed this. At least I did. I wasn't trading, but you can see here, beautiful breakout. So it's kind of building a new consolidation area. It looks like here, right? Broke out of this one nicely a couple of days ago, and then today's got a good pre-market activity. Not the best. We've seen better from NVIDIA. So again, guys, it can go either way here. I don't see it having any significant news. It pretty much opening up flat, but I love the way the daily has broken out of this area here nicely. So here it's probably going to consolidate. If it can get above the previous day close, if it doesn't have any resistance here and it goes towards the high of yesterday, that could be a nice possible breakout to hit at 275 or even higher. So definitely want to keep an eye on. But for the pre-market action, I'm not seeing anything all that great right on here just yet. All right, let's go over to the chat. Let's see what you guys have. What else you guys have here? MU, let's look at MU here, and then we look at Baidu next. So MU this morning, we do have some volume, 201, which is a lot of volume for MU. Pre-market looks good as well. Let's remove these levels. Very interesting trading day yesterday. Looks like it opened up here. This thing popped up. Peter, you took that trade, took profits on the way up and then got stopped out on the way back down for the small little shares. I remember you was on the chat mentioning that. So right now, can go either way, guys. It's kind of stuck in an area where you have some prior resistance. This line over here, you can tell that has been an area of heavy resistance for MU, so it's below that. The few times that it has broken out of that, it comes right back down. Same thing yesterday. Broke out of that, came right back down. I'm not sure if the SPY helped it a bit, but overall, that's the level you want to have. That 58, 59 is a strong level for MU. This morning, if it can get above the previous day close, it can be nice. But overall, right now, again, it's just not looking all that great, but could be a good possible. Let's look at Baidu as well. We had that one here also. Baidu this morning. Very low volume, guys, right now. Only 41,000 shares trade. So again, I'm not seeing a whole lot on Baidu just yet. XBit. Let's look at XBit today. XBit has a very nasty daily chart, guys. So again, also when you see this type of daily chart, we see this over here lapping all over every candle on the daily. Just look down and see, okay, what's the volume that we're trading? You can see here what's happening. There's no volume being traded on this stock, so it's got some really horrible trading activity. So be careful with that one, not to get stuck in a trade that doesn't move in one way or the other. Let's take a look at Roku this morning. So Roku has just been It's funny. Me and Norm were talking about this a couple of days ago that Roku has been trading pretty crappy, and that morning it trades amazing. It had a nice little pop here. I saw some of your Twitter's tweets that on trades you guys took did very well here, so that's nice. Today's kind of pretty much flat right now. Not much volume. Well, excuse me. Hold on. This is not the Roku. Let's get the right ticker up here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so not great volume on Roku right now. 170. It could be better. We've seen Roku do a lot more. Here we have a 50,000 in this candle alone. But again, just very choppy pre-market activity. So again, what I do like about Roku though is that we are above the previous day close. You can see that previous day close has been a very important level for Roku. Look at the days using that support, resistance, support. Some more support over here. Gets below that resistance. So again, it's just that's been a very good line for that. We're slightly above that. If we are going to set a new tone here because we had a big day 2 days ago, set a new trend. This could be nice getting above that 142 and hitting some of these other targets that we have. And we know if Roku gets the volume and momentum, it can hit these numbers with no problem at all. So could be interesting. We'll drop it on here. Don't worry, guys. We'll fine tune this list. I know we have a lot here, almost even running out of space quite a bit right now. So let's look at YouTube. So we have Roku, CODX. I do have on my list down here CODX, but again, this is a low flow stock, guys. I'm not going to really be trading it. But if I look at CODX, what is it doing now? Again, just look at the daily, how crappy this is. But it can be a good flow opportunity. If you do trade that type of stock, you can watch it. Definitely active, 1.1 up 14% this morning. Roku, we have Tesla. Yep, had the recall, so we have that on there as well. I think 15,000. Peter was mentioning earlier. CODX, CAN. So CAN, we looked at this one, but I'm probably going to take this one off, guys. Again, this one just doesn't look great. Look at the volume as well, very low, as we mentioned earlier, so nothing good happening there. TROV. This one we looked at, we traded in the past. TORV, let's just pull this up here. Dailies, it's kind of bit all over the place. Really trading more of a penny stock right now. So again, just not anything great. Yeah, we were trading this one. It was up around the $5 range. Had some really good trading. Nothing great right now in TORV. All right, what else, guys? SEMI. Take a look at that. Well, maybe that's not not a ticker. Something else you're saying there.
And did you do Carlos
Yep.
SunPower? Did you look at that?
No.
SPWR? That just
SPWR.
jumped up. Yeah, it just jumped onto our list.
Yep. See that right on here.
This is an earnings play. They basically they sort of had mixed earnings, and that's causing a drop here. SunPower, I've seen it before. It's solar energy stock. I've had trouble trading it, but that being said, it has had some good volume at times, and if it's in play, it might be good. But it's just barely over the 100,000 shares right now.
Yeah, I see that. So we can keep an eye on that. If that gets better, we'll definitely look at it. Stan, we did look at XBIT. Again, doesn't look good right now. Look at the volume down here also. Again, just not great. Usually trades under a million shares on a regular basis. Look at the daily chart. So I don't like the way that one is setting up. Let's look at NTAP. I see some of you guys mentioning that one. This one, all right, looks a little bit better on the pre-market. 108 down 11.5. So I do like that. We're sitting right at this area over here of possible support. Yeah, this could be a good one. It has a great daily chart too. Look at the range and the movement on this daily. So and Net App, whatever this company is, this one looks good. We'll throw it on here, and we'll get to that one. Okay.
Yep. NetApp is earnings. They missed estimates and lowered their guidance. So to me, that's the double whammy. Where it could be a good player. I mean, the pre-market isn't great, but it could be nice. I like where it is on the daily chart.
Yeah, it is sitting on a very nice spot here in the daily. We'll do some fresh levels for this. But again, if it loses this area, obviously here's a nice area of possible support. If it loses that, you can definitely get going. All right, let's get to announcements. We'll come back, and then don't worry, guys. I know we have a lot on here. We're going to go through this and take some off that don't look very, very good. I can tell you right now, CAN will be off our list, and some other ones on here. Baba will be off my list. Doesn't have to be off yours. We'll fine-tune this, and then we'll do some levels for what we're going to focus on. Let's get over to our announcements right here. Let's bring this up. All right, Peter, take it away.
There we go. Okay, sorry, you got the announcements up. So, being that Norm, if for you guys that were joining us yesterday and heard Norm, he wasn't happy. So let's get it right today. Hold on a sec. There we go. Valentine's Day is coming, everybody, and what's better to say I love you than getting 40% off a lifetime membership with Variable Traders? Turn that money into a great date for your loved one. Just use the code LOVE. That's LOVE. Woo! All right. So, but seriously, it's a great opportunity and a great discount. Use the code LOVE to get a discount. We've been mentioning our forums, and our forums have been increasing in use. There's some great opportunities in there for new learnings. You know, you can get information out of your peers. There is absolutely no obligation. There is no cost, and we promise we are not going to market to you. So if you're not a member and you're not ready to join, that's okay. Leverage our forums because there's great information in there, not only about trading in general, but about the platforms, technical configurations, psychology, all sorts of different threads in there. And we've got some new threads where you can ask us as moderators specifically if you have questions you want to give to us, because we acknowledge people's styles are different, and you may want to send questions directly to Carlos or to myself or to Andrew directly or any one of our moderators, and you can do that in our forums. Now, if you're already a member, don't sign up again. You don't have to. You've already got access. Don't go doing that. It might mess up your existing membership. But if you're brand new, feel free to check it out. As we've been mentioning, we've got the options tab for options traders in the room. So not only we're trading the stocks, but you can take a look at the options. We've obviously got the swing trade information and tabs out there. So lots of great information every single day. Success webinars are coming. Last night, we had the opportunity to enjoy Mike Bellafiore from SMB Capital, who talked about his playbook and how do you implement a playbook and how do you leverage that. That's Elon just calling me again. Wants to know how he's doing. I'll talk to him later. That was a great webinar for anybody who had a chance. It was at a unique time at 4:15 right after the markets closed. But normally these are at 8 o'clock. And coming up on the 19th and 26th over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have Ed Martin doing a 2-part series on trend trading. So I'm actually looking forward to that as well because I like Ed. He's a great guy. He's got a very mature trading style, and it's good to learn different styles. Hopefully you can join us if you're a lifetime member, because that's for our lifetime members in our lifetime member room. So those are upcoming. Speaking of upcoming activities, our meetups are coming. We've got 3. Well, 2 that are scheduled, 1 we're looking to schedule. So first off, on the 21st, New York City, I'm going to do my best to be there. I know we've got some of our other moderators that are going as well. So you get to meet a bunch of the Bear Bulls team. You get to meet a bunch of our traders. NYC is a great place to be, and there's some great traders and great people there. You just talk trading. We'll buy the drinks. All you got to do is show up. Whether you're a member or not, we invite you to come out, see what we're about, meet us in person. We're real human people who just love to trade and love to talk about it. So hopefully you can join us in New York and check our forums, and you can get more detail about where specifically that is in New York. We're looking for one in Dubai right towards the end of the month. We're looking for those in our forums to provide some opinions about whether you can go, who's going to be there. Andrew loves to travel. He personally is interested in being there, so hopefully we can make that one happen and schedule a date. Again, go to our forums. You can get set up for that. Last but not least, in East Hampton, we've got a member who's coordinated this one, March the 7th. He's got a great bar that we're going to. He's excited to be hosting us, so we're looking forward to having a bunch of people join us in East Hampton on the 7th of March. All right. 2 last things I want to mention here is that if you're not ready to join as a full-time member, and maybe you've already looked at our forums, or you want to jump in just one step farther, why don't you try out our room, see what it's like. We acknowledge not every room is for every person, but we firmly believe in what we do. We love educating and helping out our members. And if you want to join in a 1-week trial, just see what it's about, do so. Use the code premarket24. Again, we are not a big marketing company. We're not going to start sending you these emails every day telling you how you're going to make $1 trillion. We really just want to help you out. It's at your discretion. You join, you decide what information you want to get. You can join us for a week in the chat room. Last but not least, we are very active on Twitter. We like to post our trades. We like to talk to our members, like to see what they're doing and what they're trading. So join us on Twitter. Use any of our Twitter handles at Bearable Traders, at Carlos MBBT, or at Norm BBT. I'm out there as well. Thor.
All right, thank you, man. Great job there. All right, let's get to it, guys. We have quite a bit on here. Let's go through it first and kind of take some of the stuff off that we are not going to watch. So we know off the bat, CAN is not a good one, so we'll take that one off. Delete that one here. Let's look at BE. So BE, this is an energy company. So again, it's got some somewhat good activity, but normally they do not trade all that well. I do not have shares for sure. I'm going to take this one off for now. Let's look at NTAP is good. Roku is good. MU is good. Cisco. Well, let's go back to MU. Hold on. Yeah, MU is okay. Cisco is good. Tesla could go either way here. We'll keep it on here. LK I do like. MGM, this is not good. Let's take MGM off. Doesn't look good on the pre-market. Also, the daily's kind of stuck within all this area here. So we'll remove that one. Let's look at KHC. This one is getting very interesting here, guys. 29.12. If I was a pre-market trader, this would be a good entry, breaking this down. Not suggesting that, but again, looks very interesting here. Let's see what it does there. JD looks good, guys. Got some good activity here. I'm going to take off BABA. I prefer to trade JD. It is active today. Got 367. I'm not a great BABA trader, so we'll take that one off for me. You can keep that one if you like. And AMAT is one that, again, it could be tricky. It's not an easy stock to trade, but this morning they're popping up nicely above this area of resistance, so we'll keep that one on. So AMAT, JD, KHC, one of the favorite ones this morning, breaking down from that 29.12. LK is not the greatest. Tesla, you know what? I'm going to take off Tesla because as active as it is, I think there's other stuff that we can watch that's going to probably be a little more better to trade. So I'm going to take off Tesla just because we could put this down as a possible, actually. That's a better idea. Let's put it down as a possible. Let's put Tesla down here because we do have some stuff that's trading pretty neat here. Cisco, MU. I think MU is going to have Roku and MU are going to have to sit on the sidelines for a bit here. We'll put this in our bench. Put MU here, and then we'll put Roku down here as well as some possible. I think these three are going to be good. Whatever else is down here, guys, these are low flow stocks. I'm not going to be focused on this over here. But if you are looking for possible stocks that are low flows, these are it. They are very active this morning. You can look at the volume. Some of these are up 40, 28%. So again, very active. You can look at those if you're looking for that type of activity. So we'll take off MU and Roku from our main list. And I think now we have a somewhat more manageable list that we can look at and do levels for, right? I think that looks a lot better. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, let's start with AMAT. So AMAT over here, guys, what I like about it, again, is that it's popping out of this area of 65. Good continuation over the last couple of days. Look how strong it has been. Popped up here, came back down, found some support at the moving averages. Also an area where you have some prior resistance and support. And then look at the beautiful takeoff here above some of these highs. So high of the pre-market at the moment, 67.68. We'll mark that down. And then we can mark down also here 66.35. Let's mark that down as well. And I think that's all you need for levels, guys. Towards the bottom, plenty of highs and lows from the last two trading days. I don't think we're all-time high with this one.
I think so, actually.
Oh, you are.
Looks like
wow. I thought a year ago we were, but no, we're past this little bump here. Okay, nice. All right, so that's all you really need for levels, guys. The all-time high here at 67.68. Let's head down over to JD. So JD, guys, doesn't have the great daily chart. It used to be trading very well, but after the coronavirus and a lot of all this gapping up, gapping down has caused a lot of choppiness here in the daily. But overall, prior to that, it was trading very, very well, hitting these moving averages nicely. Today, they got a great pre-market activity. This is a beautiful pre-market activity with some good volume. So I definitely want to have this on my list. Low of the pre-market sitting at 39.92. We'll mark that down. Below that, you do have an area of support right over here, support and resistance at 39.14. Look at this moving average, also very close on the daily to that 39.93. And then below that, obviously, this is very choppy in here. So I'm also looking in this area here and what we can find. And I like this area of possible resistance. Well, not possible, of resistance a couple of weeks ago right on here. That can also be support on here, right? So it's hard to go just off of this, but looking back on this nice little pop and seeing how where you lost the momentum right on here at 37.77 looks like a good level. All right, so that's what we have on JD, guys. But I really love the the pre-market activity now with some good volume on JD. KHC this morning. See what we have here. So again, we lost it here. Let's see if we're going to recover that nice little drop here, going down, making our new pre-market low at 28.25, excuse me. So we'll mark that down. Let's see what we have towards the bottom. We do have, hold on, let me remove all these levels. There we go, that's a lot better. So 28.25, low of the pre-market at the moment. Prior, I'm saying lower than that, we do have an area right on here at 27.47. You can see here the support and resistance happening around that area. Also, a couple of days ago, we had this beautiful gap. Look how that 28.25 right on here is also the top of this gap down, right? They had a beautiful gap down here back in August. And then you can see also this 27.46. Then following day, that's when it gapped up and then sold back down from there. So two good levels to have on there. Right now, the price action is right below it. It is sitting at a possible level, 29.15. So I'm going to mark that down, 29.15. You can see some of the pre-market action hitting that. And actually, when it lost that 29.15, that's when it had this nice flush down here. So beautiful drop there for a couple of cents. And the reason why I'm picking that, if you go over and look at a couple of days back in 2 weeks ago, a week ago, you can see right on there that beautiful support happening right on there on that time frame. Also, go back even further, back in September. Look at these couple of days here where they're consolidating. There's support right there on that 29.15 worth having on your list. Towards the top, guys, I'm seeing plenty already. Highs and lows last two trading days. You also have your previous day close. Again, I don't think you need to add anything more within this area here. You're pretty much covered. Let's look at LK this morning. So LK, again, it has some potential based off the daily chart, right? The daily chart can get going here for squeeze. It can trade very nice. It's somewhat had a nice big drop here, kind of try to recover. And it's kind of just winding into a point here that can have a great possible breakout. Pre-market seems to be a bit all over the place, but you do have some volume on it. As far as levels, you're stuck between the highs and lows. Previous day close between above and below the price action right now. So we'll just get some levels that are away from that. Down here, we do have one at 33.81. If we decide to lose, it's 36.25, 33.81. Great level of support on here. Also, look at this beautiful. I think we spoke about this probably a couple of days ago when we were watching this style. Look at the breakout here of this 33.81. When we come back and just retest, and Peter, you were talking about this in the chat room in the afternoon about these lightning bolts kind of patterns, right? So takes off, breaks out, comes right back, retests at 33.81, and then takes off, right? So that's kind of like your lightning bolt pattern happening there. So if we can get above this 38.75, this 40, what we do have, the next area of possible resistance could be 41.55. Again, that's a long way to go, and it's got to get through a lot on here. But the way this thing has been setting up nicely could possibly have that potential. Here is Cisco at the moment. Again, good pre-market activity. Not the best daily chart, and also not the best trading stock. It can be very choppy, but I do love this drop, guys. Down 5.1 this morning. So we're going to mark down here high of the pre-market 47.68, our low sitting right at a 47.11, so we'll mark that down. And then below that, guys, we do have a level down here at 45.85. Above your pre-market highs, you got plenty of levels. Do not really need to add any more on there. NTAP here, we do have our low of our pre-market sitting at 52.60. 52.60, here we go. Above that, pre-market high at 54.50. We marked that. And then also right below the pre-market action, you do have this great level. We're talking about this here where we found support and kind of recovered nicely. You do have this bottom level here at 53.24. So you want to mark that down on there and keep that on your list as well. All right, so let's see what else we have. So above that, above the pre-market high, 54.50, we do have a beautiful consolidation area right on here, 56.38. You can see that on the beautiful day, having a hard time getting above that. You also have going back kind of a peak here, also struggling within that area, 56.38. And then just want to have one more towards the bottom in case we lose this 52.59 pre-market low. What's the next area? See, this daily here is very choppy, guys. So you're not going to find a great main level besides this one, right? This is obviously a good one. You have the price action dropping down, changing that direction and reversing, going up. There's another minor level you want to have on here. This one, 54.45. Again, not the greatest daily level, but you have 4 days here bouncing off that 50.45. So just keep that on there just in case we do lose this previous pre-market low. That's an area that we can target. All right, so MU, guys, on our possible list, we have MU on here. I'm not going to go through levels. Pretty stuck between the highs and lows right now on MU. So, again, it's just really, if it can break out and try to test its highs, 61, that would be nice. Tesla as well. We can do some levels for Tesla. It's looking interesting. Again, it's been holding this moving average here. Me and Norm been talking about that in previous pre-market shows. It did below it this morning, but it somehow is recovering here. The low of the pre-market sitting at 712. Below that, you do have another possible area right here at 674, which is also your moving average on the daily. And then above here, guys, you got a lot of resistance, a lot of traffic in here when it comes to levels, highs and lows, previous day close that it's got to get through to be able to even try for like an 820, right? So I don't think that's going to happen fairly easy today, especially with some slight negative news, although it looks like we're trying to recover and break this pre-market high. Pre-market high sitting at 751. So we'll mark that down here. Again, this is a good recovery. Nice big drop here with some volume, obviously with the news of the recall and some other stuff going on. And now here it's kind of trying to break out of that. So we'll see what that does. And then the last one on our possibles list is Roku. But Roku is really stuck highs and lows right now, slightly above the previous day close. It's got a lot of potential though. If it can break out, 2 days ago they hit this. That's too big. Let's go back. It broke out of this 142.50. Right, if it can get up there and break out of that, it's got some really good potential on here. So again, let's look at some levels really quick. This one 49, 149.49 is a great one. Also, you have another one on here. Several days using this as possible resistance. 146.44, and we know Roku, if it gets the fuel and the volume, it can definitely do that. Look at the moves we had back in November, right? So it's a stock that can move well. It hasn't done that recently. It's kind of been just kind of this beautiful downtrend. If you look at it now, it hasn't done well in the intraday, but here we had a great breakout, kind of changing the norm, the direction that this thing had going down. This could be hopefully a new setting trend here to go higher, so we'll keep an eye on that one. All right, folks, just a quick recap. Brian, good morning. I see Brian is on, so he's going to walk us through some of his stuff as well. But we have AMAT, JD, KHC, LK, Cisco, and NTAB this morning, and some possibles, MU, Tesla, and Roku. Good morning, Brian. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good. Yeah, so gapping down, interesting. Yeah, stuff's all over the place right now. KHC, it's kind of erratic. I was looking at it as a possible rising devil trade. What do you think? You think the market's just going to rip back up again, just like we had a couple of days ago, or
I think it is.
Remember it gapped down and it opened up, went and ripping higher.
Yeah,
that's where I think things are going to go. Honestly.
Yeah, this market has been so strong. It's just every time you think it's gonna lose it just finds a way to come back. So,
well, let's not go into this with any preconceived notions, but SPY. Yeah, I'm looking at Uber too. So
Uber, let's take a look at Uber.
Well, I'm just looking at things that have been strong that might just sort of snap back here. BE is gapping down, but it looks pretty strong here too. So keep an eye on that one. All right, I don't seem to have a tab for posting my to do post this morning. I don't know why, but guess I'll just have to post here in the regular chat. So not really liking KHC, even though I was hoping it might be a decent rising devil trade. It just making me making me nervous. I'm going to have it on the screen, but I'm thinking it's going to be choppy. And AMAT is pretty strong here, eh?
It is. All right, we are 5 minutes from the open, guys. Thank you so much, guys, on YouTube for joining us. We appreciate you guys spending your morning with us. We're going to go over to our chat now and fine-tune our list as Brian goes through his watch list, and some of the other moderators have posted their watch list, and we're going to get ready for the market open. Take care, guys. Trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, so we can end the week strong.